When life throws you a curveball, how are you going to handle adversity? Welcome to the Fearless Mindset Podcast, where you're about to go on a journey as I interview security, business, and entertainment leaders on what it takes to stay fearless. I'm your host, Mark Ledlow, and enjoy today's episode. Now, how does that money work? Are you able to take money out of the ATM wherever you are in Europe? I don't want to disclose your location for your security purposes and reasons, but are you able? How does that work?
In certain places, yeah, there's access to ATMs. Obviously, the closer you get to Ukraine, the harder it is to get money in cash. Fortunately, I mean, we've established a supply line, and kind of our base of operations is back in a very populated and resourceful area. And so when we go back and make supply runs, if we need to get cash, we're able to get that. People talk about the fuel shortage, and I mean, honestly, I haven't really seen that much of a fuel shortage.
Really?
In Ukraine, there's some places that are rationing, but for the most part, we haven't had any issues getting fuel. So some of the things that are being reported, I'm not really seeing.
Okay, interesting. Good to know.
Yeah.
Anyway, you want to add any more information for us for the listeners, Mike?
Yeah, man, I really appreciate you having me on, and to sit here and I'm doing this because this is what I want to be able to help. I want to leave my mark on the world. It's not really about money, and a lot of people get caught up in just making money, but the greatest thing that I've found in life is to be of service to others. And that's why I'm here. These people need help. And I have the skills, the skill sets to help. And when these people need it the most. And, it's been an honor to be here. It's been very humbling. And, I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's
well, think about it. You're willing to give up your life and get killed to help people you don't even know. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, man. I mean, everybody has their own views in the world, and for those of us that have spent our lives in service to others, then that's what makes us happy. That's what makes us understand the world. So whatever it takes to help others. I mean, I'm not looking for handouts or any. I'm not looking for any glory. I'm doing this because I care. So
I know Pete Morton's out there somewhere over in Europe doing something. I saw some stuff on LinkedIn. So if you run across him there, Poland or wherever, tell him I said hello.
All right, will do. I've definitely run into a lot of mutual friends that we have, and a lot of them are doing the same. I mean,
are they?
There's a lot of volunteering, man.
It's crazy, and the industry in the United States is about ready to blow up. The steam is building for the private sector right now. I've been so busy over here running stateside business operations; it's been nuts. But I have so much respect for guys like yourself, Michael, out there just giving your time, your energy, and resources. And in a war zone where Putin could possibly drop a nuke or, biological warfare just to take over Ukraine, and guys like Mike's out there and Army vets, military vets out there just serving others to save them, to pull them out of harm's way. And that takes a certain personality, because if you hear Mike's voice, he's very calm. I think most people in the United States would be freaking out, but he has a very calmness in his head. He's not really bothered by any of this.
I definitely wouldn't say I'm not bothered, but it's you get used to it after a while, I guess. I mean,
when you hear that bomb going off, but 5 clicks away from where you were the other day, what went through your mind? Oh crap!
Not really. I mean, I knew how far. You could tell by the explosion had been off. It was off for a little while, but the first thought in was, is that it? Is there more coming? And you kind of stop and assess that situation and, wait a few minutes, nothing happens, it's back to normal. I mean, it sucks, but, there's no more coming. It's time to move on. When it's your time, it's your time. So,
Wow, that's true. Yeah, I've been hearing that they're sending out a bunch of missiles from Russia in there, just hitting like 500 missiles from Russia soil into the Ukraine. That was going on for a while. Did that kind of subside?
I don't really know. I haven't been, like I said, that was the only experience that I really had. I know in some of the harder hit areas, Mariupol, which has been really in the news a lot. That's been a really horrible situation down there. They've just continuously bombarded what once was a beautiful city. And from my understanding, there's been a lot of civilian casualties. Um, they supposedly were going to allow a humanitarian corridor to open up. That happened, then it got cut. There was rumors that they were putting mines out on these routes. There's been a lot of horrible things that have, come out of these areas, and some of it may be true, and some of it may not. You don't really know. The only way you know is if you've been there and you've experienced it, and you know, it's horrible. I mean, just sit back and see, and not even just sit back, but to witness these families and the children. I mean, that's the hardest part for me is, these innocent children that they don't really know what's going on. They're standing in line at the border crossings and stuff, and they're playing, and they're up to mischief, and you know they have no idea that everything that they knew before was gone. Um, and that right there is just, that's probably the thing that's bothered me the most since I've been here. Um, is the innocent people and the children, and just being able to be here and help them means the world. It's very humbling.
Wow, that's pretty powerful. I know, Mike, you've been in war before. You've been in a conflict before. What's the difference between that conflict and this conflict? How do you look at it?
A lot of guys, I'm of the generation of the Iraq, Afghanistan, the global war on terror. And a lot of people don't understand that this is a different kind of war. It's more of a conventional war. Um, it goes against kind of all the tactics and everything that we've learned. And it's going back to more of the post World War II and Cold War strategies. And obviously, I can't really speak to the numbers of casualties and all that other stuff, but to see some of the destruction and to see the amount of firepower that's been used, it's a lot different than anything we've ever seen. I mean, this is some of the most intense fighting that Europe has seen since World War II, and it's massive. So for guys like us that fought in GWAT, it's a totally different kind of warfare than what we saw in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Like you said, it's more severe. So the severity of the ammunition and the weaponry that Putin has access to is pretty highly advanced technology.
Well, even outside of the weapons, technology wise, you're now fighting a force that has pretty much the same technology as you have. The days of being undercover with night vision goggles and all that good stuff, fighting a under equipped enemy is kind of over. I mean, these guys have got night vision, they've got drones, they've got missiles, they've got air power. So it's totally different. I mean, even down to like their intelligence network. That's a big thing. They have an intelligence network that's, I wouldn't say superior, but it's up there with our intelligence, and a lot of that stuff's played out in the media. You got stuff false narratives and that stuff being pushed out. And, it's all info wars. They're disseminating false information for propaganda reasons and for this. A lot of people have said that this is the first kind of open source warfare that we've experienced, and a lot of the intel and stuff that's being gathered out of this is coming from open sources, and so it's been interesting. I know for a fact we've had some interactions with I don't know if specifically if they were Russian, but they obviously were gathering intel on a group of our guys and me while we were out. We had 3 of them that we interacted with and had to ditch them. So that was pretty interesting. Same time, kind of scary. Some of the other guys I talked to that have been here a little bit longer, that they've had quite a few interactions and have had to ditch. I guess in essence spies. One guy he picked up. He was having coffee and met a young lady and got talking to her, and then next thing you know, she's asking all these questions, and then the next day in a totally different place that wasn't coincidental, he ends up running into her again. So there's a lot of that stuff going on here too.
So you just kind of the hair stand up in the back of your neck, and they're asking very weird questions, and it makes you kind of think, okay, why are they asking you those kind of questions?
Well, that, and then also, I mean, we found a lady taking pictures of us. I mean, a lady came up, started talking to us, trying to get information from us, and then as we ditched her, come around the corner and ran into the person that was sitting there taking pictures of us and stuff. So there's no telling like what they're up to or what kind of intel they're trying to gain. I mean, we're just a couple of dudes doing a job that's volunteering and stuff. So I mean, they're not gonna get much information out of us.
I mean, do you think they want to grab you guys and send in the special forces or the special forces Russian guys that maybe kidnap you guys and get information out of you, or what do you think is their motive?
Man, I mean, there's been a lot of rumors like that Spetsnaz, they're gonna start focusing on the aid workers and all this stuff. As far as I know, nobody's been kidnapped or nobody's been directly targeted. Could they do that? Yeah. I mean, in the same aspect, I mean, you got a lot of like psyops and all that stuff. There's a mixture of all that stuff going on. So,
yeah, sure.
Anything that they can get a lead on, they're going to try. And see a bunch of dudes with beards and Americans or whatever. I mean, God knows what they think.
Right. When you say ditch them, do you guys have like counter surveillance move you guys do to ditch them, like different tactics or something when you're in the field?
Yeah, I mean, setting up SDRs and all that stuff, just, a couple turns here, a couple turns there, and then, disappear. So, I mean, we've all kind of got that background that, we're on the lookout, so.
Is there a strategy when you guys do the rescue without releasing too much detail? Do you have the strategy, like lookouts, points, the rear on when you're doing your maneuvers?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, these extractions, they're not the glorious things that everybody thinks they are. It's 2 dudes showing up in a vehicle and picking up a family or whatever and driving out. We haven't really, I mean, yeah, we've got surveillance detection routes and stuff that if we pick up a tail that we can identify, and then we've got our TTPs and stuff that we would put in place to handle a situation if it arises that we're being followed. But to my knowledge, within our team, we haven't really had anybody on an operation catch a tail or anything. So fortunately, we haven't really had to deal with that. When we dealt with all these I guess, intel, whatever you want to call them, spies, it was actually on the other side of the border. It wasn't within Ukraine. So that's why I think, maybe they thought we were a little bit more than what we really are. So, but I mean, a lot of guys I've spoken to, it reminds you of the books or the movies and stuff you see of during the Cold War, of the spy games that were going on between, the East and the West. And, a lot of that stuff's going. I mean, a lot of the Soviet era tactics, are being utilized. I mean, I can remember a couple of days ago, we were back across the border and walking, and I saw a lady on a bicycle with a basket on the front, and she had bread in it, and she's just singing at the top of her lungs, and I almost felt like I was in a World War II movie. I mean,
Wow.
it's crazy.
Trip.
But it's definitely been a humbling experience.
Wow, it's like when you're talking, it's like listening to a movie in Hollywood. I mean, it's just such a trip.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly. I mean, I feel like I'm living out a movie right now. You know, it's just been amazing to see some of the things we've seen. And the heart of World War II, some of the worst atrocities that were ever committed, were committed in this area. I mean,
Sure.
Auschwitz,
Yep.
some of the concentration camps are around here. So, I mean, these countries are well aware of, how bad things can get. And to see a force that is somewhat similar to the things that happened during World War II, has got a lot of these people scared. And they're very thankful that, the world has turned their attention to them and is here to help.
It's interesting. I was doing the research on the country of Ukraine, and I was talking to my business partner Ron Owens, and we're just did some research. I'm like, isn't there a high concentration of Jewish people that live in the Ukraine? And he goes, let me look it up. And I think they're in the second or the third or something like that, the largest population in the world of Jewish people. And now all of a sudden, it's just all over again. Putin calling them Nazis, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what? The propaganda war that he's raging against them. I'm like, the majority of them are Jewish people.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know that was the population was that large. I didn't know there was a large population here. But yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of propaganda going out. I think I mean, is everybody here perfect? No. You've got a mixture, a hodgepodge of all kinds of different backgrounds and stuff that have flocked here to help. And there's some bad apples in there. There were some bad apples before all this stuff happened,
Sure.
But that doesn't justify the atrocities and stuff that are being the locals and the Ukrainian people are being subjected to.
It's sickening. It's just repulsive. But Putin is so obsessed with taking over the Ukraine. It's just like, wow, it's just a weird obsession.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I mean, again, I'm not a military expert. I'm just a grunt that did his job. But it doesn't make sense to me. For one, there's no what's the end game. Two, you just turn the entire world against you.
Yeah, he did.
I don't understand. I just don't understand his strategy. And that's probably the scariest thing about it is that we just don't know what he's thinking, and we don't know at what point is he gonna lose it and just go all out.
And that's the big talk right now. If you watch the news media, everybody's thinking, oh crap, he's gonna make a move on Poland if he has victory now, or some Eastern Bloc country. And are you seeing U.S. troops in Poland yet, or have you saw any troops build up on the border yet?
Yeah, I mean, there's U.S. troops and Canadian troops and
Okay.
British troops. We've passed them at some of the airports and stuff, in Poland. So there's definitely U.S. military there. I mean, I don't know how many. I don't know what their mission is, but
Sure.
I've definitely seen some.
The buildup going on right now as we speak.
Yeah.
Well, the United Nations, I'm sure, is going to go, well, we got to do something because if Putin does get stupid or something, we got to defend ourselves.
Well, I'm gonna kind of keep my opinions to
Yeah.
myself on the whole UN thing. But
Yeah.
if you ever worked with the UN, you know kind of how that goes. So
Oh, yeah. Yep. Exactly. Wow. Is there anything else that the media is not covering that you're seeing on the ground in Ukraine been that's been rewarding? Like you said, the kids, just being able to watch the kids, be with the kids that can't help themselves, and just be there to be like the guardian angel for them.
yeah, man. I mean, obviously, I haven't been really tuned into the media and everything that they've been pushing out, just because we don't really have access to TVs and all that stuff all the time. I'll get some snippets here and there, and um, you know, I guess what people need to understand is that with everything that's going on, you still have hospitals, you have elderly, you have orphanages, you have everything that's in a functioning society is being affected by um, the war that's going on, and that's displacing all these different functions. And these people need help. It's not like everybody can just get up and walk out. So being able to be here and being able to help those people that aren't as fortunate as just getting in a car and driving away, that's been a very humbling experience. And like I said, the mission here is far from over. um you know so hopefully that we can continue to maintain what we're doing, continue to help, but at some point it becomes a financial issue, and if we don't have the finances to do it, then we're essentially becoming a liability. So at some point, if we run out of funds or don't have that funding, then we'll have to pull out. And I hate to do that, but it is what it is.